We begin our Lenten journey today like we begin any journey, with a packing list. Having begun on Wednesday with marks of ashes and a holy meal, we have now to settle into questions of what we will take with us, of where we're going, of what is appropriate for taking with us, and what is appropriate to pack. Now, packing for Lent isn't like sorting socks and deciding how many blazers are needing. Packing for Lent is more like sorting our minds and our hearts to discern what our souls need. In Lent, it is customary that some of us give up things or let go of some things. Others of us pick up new things. Some of us eat filet-o-fish on Fridays, and others of us gave up fast food many, many years ago. And this Lent at this church, we're focusing on our technology packing lists as ways to focus our discipleship. Kind of like the question of which power cords and adapters are needed for which country you're going to, or to take a hairdryer or not, or have we called Verizon to make sure we can afford whatever charges they're going to mysteriously place on our bill. For the next 5 Sundays, we're going to examine piece by piece the technology that surrounds us, that we use every day, that increasingly uses us every day, and the very real concern that it may consume us rather than us consuming it. We do this with an aim of paring down to what is essential as we remember the essence of who we are and whose we are. Throughout these 5 weeks leading to Holy Week, we will together have a conversation about our humanity. All of us are invited. We'll talk about what makes us special, and also what parts of us can never be outsourced or automated, no matter how hard some may try. We'll also share stories together about the ways that technology brings us stress, and how sometimes it feels like it can overwhelm us or overtake us. Lent is a journey, and we are going on one, and for this journey, we here at West End have prepared a map and also a set of field note guides for the specifics of our approach. Today and for this season, there are handouts in the back of the sanctuary that you're welcome to collect after church. We're calling these field guides. And they contain the sorts of practical tips and information and resources you may find valuable during your own Lenten journey. For friends on Zoom, and for those of you who are inclined, these field guides are also on our website, and they'll be included in our new Monday Lenten reflection email that comes out tomorrow. So friends on Zoom or digital lovers, fear not. We have many ways for you to join too. So today we take as our first topic one of the most ubiquitous and seemingly harmless pieces of modern technology: the news. News. News sources, cable, paper, apps, podcasts, however you get your news. And we're going to have some thoughts on how to ensure the news doesn't eclipse the good news. Today I'd like you to start by considering these 3 words: news, facts, and stories. If you take notes or write on your phone, you're welcome to take that out now. Take out your phones. Or if you're a note card or bulletin writer, take a pen from the pew in front of you and get your bulletin out. Get something to scribble on. And type or write these 3 words on whatever way that you're thinking: news, facts, and stories. And for the next 60 seconds, friends on Zoom, you can do this in the chat window or on your own piece of scrap paper. For the next 60 seconds, I ask you to consider how these words are synonymous, and also how they are different, what their nuances are. How do they differ? And what effect do they differ in you? Go. pencils down. With these allusions and distinctions in mind, you have them in mind, right? I'm now going to ask you to think of one word, a feeling word for each of them. We can call these out. One word. What one word comes to your mind when I say the word news? We're going to learn from Black Church. You're going to talk to me. Stress. News. Trouble. Truth. Importance. Capital. Money. How about a feeling word? We started with stress. Other feeling words. Feeling words when I say the word news. Anger, anxiety. There we are. Now we're talking feelings. We're still good by Protestants. Yep, we're going to talk about feelings. Okay, sorry. Curiosity. Hope. Okay. What one word, a feeling word, comes to mind when I say the word facts? Comfort. Truth. Distressing. Honesty. Skepticism. Longing. Friends on Zoom, the last word that I see is from Carol, which is anger. I think that's related to news. So anything that you type, and going forward, she carried forward. Yes, fair. Yes. Okay. Final call out section. What emotional word comes to mind when I say stories? Comfort. History. Fun. Clarice. Personal. Relationships. Context. Warmth. Reflection. Skepticism. Misused. Hope. Say it again, Ken. Calming. So, back to your own meditations, your 60-second scribble or typing, and your own packing lists. Which of these words do you need for the Lenten journey? News, facts, stories. Is there one that you may need more than the others? Is there one that might be better for you than the others, that might be better for you? And is there one that you might leave behind on this trip? Not forget about it entirely, not ignore, you're not throwing it out, but maybe it doesn't need to go on this trip. Like your favorite winter coat that you don't need to pack for the beach. Is there one of these words, one of these distinctions, that you might be able to leave at home in order to lighten your road? Is there one that you're going to carry forth, one set of emotions, one feeling that you want here at the start to take with you into the liminal Lenten space where anything is possible? Writing to the ancient church in Rome, the eternal city, the capital of capital cities, Paul reminds those savvy, cosmopolitan, know-it-all Roman elites that the word is near to you. It is in your mouth and in your heart. We heard this from Dave this morning. Paul is not talking about the word of the day, nor whatever news cycle was threatening to overtake the preacher's sermon that weekend, nor what was being talked about at dinner or around the Colosseum's water coolers. To make sure his readers knew, to make sure we know that that's not what he's talking about, he includes a further description. And in the text from the book of Romans that we heard this morning, he writes, after saying, the word is near to you, it is in your mouth and heart. That is, the word of faith that we proclaim, a fourth word, faith. Paul is, of course, writing about the good news, capital N, capital G, good news, gospel. The good word that is near to you, that is in your mouth and on your heart. Paul is writing about a word that frees you, that has liberation in it. Paul is writing about matters of the heart, of what we believe with our hearts, and of how that belief, that word, will save us. That's a good word. That's the good news indeed. When we were invited to think about the news just a few moments ago, did any of you consider the good news? Or was that an illusion too far? The news that brings us together this morning in this old church with new hopes. When thinking about the words that we hear, the words that we read, the words that we say, the words that we fill our days, how many of us are thinking enough about the good word? Or are you silently sitting there chastising yourself with a bad word or two for why you didn't think about it? When we meet a friend or gather wherever it is that we gather, there are certainly more than enough bad words for us to share these days. And I know that I am beginning so many conversations these days with words of confusion or of bewilderment, of outrage, of shock, of dismay. And there's not a day that passes where I don't say some version of, "Can you believe this?" Or, "But did you hear this? And did you hear this bit of news?" So often we spend our days trading in bites or bits of what we think of as news, as facts and as parts of the story. So often we pass along these bits, this news, these facts, these stories we want to tell as a way of showing how much it is that we know, how much we've read, and how deeply we're alarmed. We've substituted talking about our feelings with trading currency of news. Is that the word that Lent calls us to hold nearest to us? Is that the word that is on our mouths and in our hearts? Or is there another option? In the back of the sanctuary and on our website and in tomorrow's email is the first of our 2025 Lenten field guides. This one, a guide to the news. In it, you will find some tips those of us who put it together find helpful about media literacy and journalistic standards, ways to better understand the journey or to steady our own selves as we engage with the technology that is 24/7 and constantly trying to change us. The technology that makes news a constant in our lives, with very little time to think. The field guide has some practical info, but the deeper reflection isn't one that I could have written for you. You'll have to write it yourselves. The question is about the word that is nearest to you, the word that is in your heart, the word that is on your lips or that you'd like to be on your lips. Only you can answer that. And that answer may take some time to get to, but don't worry, we have 40 days. And then a season of resurrection that is like extra time and extra credit. That answer that you're seeking may feel muddy and like it spirals in on itself these days, but take heart. There is an end in sight. Lent has bookends. You get to write everything in between. That answer may be closer than you know, closer than you fear, for it may be the most horrifying word you know to be true deep down inside and that you tremble to speak. So have faith. Have a good word. This good news will set you free. And for when you're lost, or just here at the start, here's a prayer for the journey. Lord, help me discern what is true in all the news of the world. And may it be your word that is closest to me, springs from my lips, and holds my heart. Amen.